It's Wednesday, which means it's time for a favorite find, and man, this week's favorite find sent me down a rabbit hole, and I'm going to try to get it right, but I don't know if it will. We'll start at the beginning though. So, I got an email from Carl, and the email was basically as such. He got a Minelab X-Terra Elite. He goes out to detect. He is brand new. His detector goes off. He digs the hole, and inside the hole is a rare find. It's a Hertz radiator badge. Yeah, like Hertz, the rental car company. When I begin to tell you, this sent me down a rabbit hole way deeper than I thought it would. I'm going to try to start at the beginning. We all know Hertz is a rental car company. I did not know Hertz was a car. Well, briefly, sort of, kind of. It started out originally, John Hertz and William Shaw were partners. And they had a company called Shaw Automotive, or Automobiles. And they made a car for taxis called the Shawmobile. And they were very well known as a taxi cab manufacturing company. Well, they eventually decided to make a luxury car. And they called it the Colonial. Well, first they called it the Shaw. Then they called it the Colonial. And then it was finally called the Ambassador. Okay. Then Shaw retired. Then Hertz became the sole owner or boss of the company, and the company was then became the Yellow Cab Manufacturing Company. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of a yellow cab, but he continued to manufacture the Ambassador for the Yellow Cab Company, and he decided he wanted to get into leasing cars and renting cars. So he started the Hertz company to make rental cars. And between 1924 to 1927, they produced a version of the Ambassador renamed the D-1 touring automobile. And it was the Hertz car. And that's what this badge came from. Now, originally the Ambassador had a 75 horsepower engine, but the Hertz cars had a 25 horsepower inline six. So you could rent a 25 horsepower. I'm sure it was a great car. I'm sure it was just a lot of fun to ride around in, but it was a convertible, or as I like to call them, pervertibles. Anyway, for this brief window of time, there was a Hertz branded automobile produced by the Yellow Cab Manufacturing Company, owned by John D. Hertz. And eventually he was like, I'm not going to make these cars anymore, because it's easier for me to just buy other production cars and lease those, rent them out. And so we did. And so you start seeing Fords and, well, eventually what would go on to be every make and model. But they did maintain a really good relationship with Ford. And that's why, like, moving into like the 60s, you see like the Hertz GT Mustangs, which are really cool, and I'd love to have one. And they still do that to this day. You can still go rent a Hertz GT. And they're black with a gold stripe. They're sick. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I have a Mustang. I like Mustangs. And there's no point in me telling you that, just that I like Mustangs. I feel like the turtle kid. I like turtles. Anyway, I want to thank Carl so much for sending this in, because I love automobilia, okay? And this is a cool one. Oh, by the way, originally this radiator badge was red, white, and black. It's hard to tell from the picture, but here's a picture of one that wasn't dug up. And it's just so cool. I have found several radiator badges in different types and rare car companies, and it's one of the coolest things to find. And it's one of those things that you can find that when you find them, usually you're like, well, I know it's not really worth much. Actually, in the case of this Hertz rental badge, it may actually be worth something. So I've seen some for sale for like $400. So Carl, you might actually have something that has some intrinsic value there. So congratulations on that. But also congratulations on like hitting that magic. Man, first target on a new metal detector, and for it to be something like this is real cool. It doesn't happen all the time. So we know that Carl's going to be digging. He's going to be digging a lot. And that's awesome. I just can't begin to thank you enough, because it's just the greatest thing to hear that story and to see such a crazy cool find. And this may be one of those, like I've talked about before, you may be the only person to dig one. I don't know. Has anyone else out there dug one that is either watching or that you know of? I looked around for some dug examples of them. I didn't see any. And there's very few like non-molested, original badges. So I'm sure a collector might have some interest in it. Just a great, cool find. Now, also the Minelab X-Terra Elite, cool metal detector. If you guys have been thinking about one, maybe you should check out my friends over at detectorwarehouse.com/I-get-that-treasure. And I'm sure they probably got a deal on it. I hope they got a deal on it. Either way, you might get a deal on it. Use code GET-THAT-TREASURE at checkout. Let them know I sent you. But I do wish you further continued success. He's in Georgia, my home state, by the way. So I know there's a lot of stuff to find there. A lot of stuff to find anywhere. As long as you're on dirt, chances are pretty good. Thanks again, Carl. This is I almost want to be like, don't ever send me anything like this ever again. Because I'm going to keep looking into this more and more after this. Like I'm gonna finish recording this. I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna keep on looking up Hertz, Shaw, the Yellow Cab Manufacturing Company for a couple of days, because it's a cool story, and I'm sure this video doesn't do it justice, but just a great find. So if you got a favorite find you'd like to send it to igetthattreasure@gmail.com. Or if you just want stickers, I'll send them to you free of charge, or whatever swag I have at the time. I'll see you guys Friday with a walk and talk. If you get out, I hope you get that treasure. And thank you so much for watching.